Am I the asshole for refusing to let my roommate's girlfriend move into our apartment without paying rent? So, I 25 years old live in a 2-bedroom apartment with my roommate, Jake 26. We've been friends since college and split rent, utilities, and chores evenly. Our lease is month to month, and we've always had bills get paid, place stays clean, no drama. About 2 months ago, Jake started dating Sarah 24, and she's been spending a lot of time at our place. Like, a lot. She's here 5-6 nights a week, uses our kitchen, bathroom, Netflix, you name it. I didn't mind at first because she's nice enough, and I figured it was just the honeymoon phase. Last week, Jake sat me down and said Sarah's lease is ending soon, and he wants her to move in with us. I was caught off guard but asked how we'd handle rent and bills. He said Sarah's between jobs and can't afford to chip in right now, but she'd help out with chores. Really? I pointed out that we already split chores evenly, and adding a third person means more mess, more utilities, and more strain on our small space. I suggested Sarah pay a third of the rent and utilities once she's employed, but Jake got defensive and said I was being petty and unsupportive. He argued that since she's his girlfriend, it's not like she's a stranger, and I should be cool with it because we're all friends here. Here's my side. I get that Sarah's in a tough spot, and I don't want to seem heartless. I've been unemployed before, and it sucks. But our apartment is tiny, shared bathroom, small kitchen, thin walls. Having a third person full-time would change the vibe, and I don't think it's fair for me to subsidize her living here. I pay $800 per month for my half of the rent, plus utilities, and I budget carefully. If Sarah moves in without contributing, I'm essentially covering part of her costs, which doesn't sit right with me. I also feel like Jake's dismissing my concerns by framing it as me being unfriendly rather than practical. Jake's side, as he explained it, he says Sarah's only temporarily jobless and will make it up later. He thinks I'm overreacting because she's not some random tenant but his girlfriend, and I should trust she won't mooch forever. He also said I'm making a big deal out of nothing since she's already here most of the time anyway. He pointed out that she's cooked dinner for us a couple of times, so she's contributing in her own way. The conversation ended with Jake saying I'm being unreasonable and that I'm making Sarah feel unwelcome. Now things are tense, and Sarah's been avoiding me when she's over. I don't want to ruin my friendship with Jake, but I also don't think I should have to pay for someone else to live here. Am I the asshole for putting my foot down? Not the asshole. Jake is welcome to support his girlfriend by paying her share until she's employed again. Not the asshole, he's been dating her for 2 months and now he wants her to live with you guys rent-free? Without even an agreement that she pay 1/3 after she find a job, honestly still too generous, she may just never get another job. Nope, that's bullshit and possibly a violation of your lease to have her move in anyway. Seeing a lot of comments has made me truly realize that I should set a really good boundaries. Maybe I should tell Jake to ask her to stop coming to our home for now because I can see this will keep happening if no action is taken. They have been together 2 months, she's there 5 to 6 nights a week and she's ready to move in. How long has she been between jobs? How is she paying the lease that's ending with no job? Not the asshole. It sounds like she's looking for someone else to pay her way. If your roommate wants to, that's his choice, but it's not your responsibility to support her. Not the asshole. Sarah and Jake have only been dating 2+ months? Oh no. This is a big fat red flag. Tell Jake that you're glad he's happy. And you support his happiness from your heart, not your wallet. It is not your responsibility to subsidize either Sarah or Jake. I think you may need to find another place to live. This is going to get ugly. Not the asshole. If you don't hold this boundary now or come to a mutually agreed upon compromise, not just you caving to their demands, they'll only take advantage of you more and more as time goes on. Am I the asshole for preventing my pregnant sister access to my food? My sister, 31F, is staying with me temporarily after leaving her husband. I, 30M, have a small apartment but I let her move in because she had nowhere else to go and she's 6 months pregnant. I wasn't very pleased about this situation but she is my sis after all. The main issue has been food. I'm pretty disciplined about what I eat because I am in bulk stage and hitting the gym regularly. I portion things, label them and plan for the entire week. But every other day something's gone. Makes me crazy. She'll drink all my expensive shakes, polish off meals I've prepped for work, eat snacks I've saved for post-run, and even finish leftovers I was planning to turn into new meals. When I bring it up, she shrugs and says things like, cravings hit hard, or, hormones, or, you're being mean. I asked her to replace things she finishes or at least ask before taking something. Or hell, manage her own food for God's sake. She refuses to do anything about it. So last week I ordered a small mini fridge and set it up in my bedroom. It's just big enough for my meal prep, snacks and drinks. I didn't make a scene about it. I just quietly started putting all my stuff there. She noticed 2 days later and got pissed. She said I was being childish, dramatic, and treating her like a thief. I calmly told her I was tired of my groceries disappearing and that this was the easiest way to avoid fights. Now she's sulking and has told our parents after her failed marriage. Her brother is also alienating her. And she is just a burden for everyone. My mom called and said I should. Pregnancy isn't easy, and especially for her situation. I don't think I'm being cruel. I'm still letting her live here rent-free, and I've even offered to order food or cook together, but I just want my food to be left alone. A part of me understands she is going through trouble. But, at my expense? Am I the asshole? Where is she going to stay once the baby is born? You have got bigger problems than groceries if she won't even contribute to food costs. Not the asshole. Tell your mother to come get your sister, so she can be sure that your sister is being taken care of. Not the asshole. If your mom is so sympathetic, it sounds like she just volunteered to house and feed her. Not the asshole. Sounds very rough and can only imagine she is going through hell, but it should not be at more of your expense. You were actually very nice by letting her live there rent-free and even getting the mini fridge and separating your food, rather than kicking her out. Also, you are treating her like a thief because she is one quite literally. If she makes more drama, you'll have to tell her either she stops complaining of you storing your food or she needs to leave. Because she can't just keep eating your food and not replace it or not even care. And why are your parents not helping her if they have such opinions? Why doesn't your mom take her in and feed her if she thinks it's okay? She may be going through a hard time, but she is a whole entire adult. She should really figure out how to feed herself before her baby is born, and she has that responsibility too. Time for her to move in with the parents. Are you letting her stay there with the baby? She will be expecting you to help with the night feeds. Am I the asshole for buying my niece a car and not my nephew? Hey, I am an old guy who has never posted on Reddit, but at the urging of my niece and nephew I'm going to attempt to post this here. So I, 50M, have a niece and a nephew who are both 18 and just graduated. A few years ago when they were entering HS I made a deal with them. If they kept a B average their entire time in high school I would buy them any car of their choosing, within reason of course. We added a clause that they got one semester forgiven, so they were able to mess up one semester and I wouldn't hold it against them. I felt like 7/8 semesters with a B average was pretty fair. So my niece maintained her grades. She did mess up her sophomore year but otherwise was right on track. My nephew on the other hand pretty much never did right. We were lucky that he even passed every semester. I offered help, tutors, books, tried to make sure he was okay mentally, whatever he needed, but turns out he just straight up was not doing his work. He was doing good on tests but would never do his actual work, resulting in his grades being low. So last week was when my niece got her car. She chose a 2025 Toyota Camry. My nephew kept asking when he was going to get his, and I told him he didn't stick to his end of the agreement, so he did not get a car. He still got a very nice gift back at graduation. Now, him and his mom are angry with me and saying I am favoring my niece, and now he is refusing to speak to me or his sister. I don't think I messed up, but I'm starting to worry. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. If you had given him a car, he would be learning that he will get what he wants even when he doesn't stick to the deal. Not the asshole. They both knew the deal, and your nephew chose to slack off, even after you went out of your way to support him and keep him on track. You even considered his mental health, which is more than a lot of parents, mine included, would have done when grades started slipping. You stuck to your word, and he learned a valuable lesson. It also would have been incredibly unfair to your niece if all her hard work had been undermined just to reward her brother despite his lack of effort. Not the asshole. Going through something similar with my own kids. I made mine sign a contract, obviously not legally binding, but proof that all terms were out on the table and there were no surprises. Play stupid games. Win stupid prizes. Your gift was conditioned on 7/8 semester, minimum, with a B average or higher, minimum. Barely passing is not a B. Nephew did not meet the conditions. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It's not favoritism when both are held to the same standard and one follows through and the other doesn't. He knew from the start what was expected of him to get a free car and he just didn't put in the effort. That's on him, not anyone else. Not the asshole, he knew the terms. It would be a slap in the sister's face that she put in the work to get such a gift if you reward the other for not putting in the work. You could also set another goal for him to meet and give him a chance at redemption. Am I the asshole for how I acted after finding out about the possibility of a new baby in the family? I, 29F, have a sibling that is 10 years older than me. We will call him Bob, 39 male. Bob and I have always had a strained relationship as he was always babied and favored by our mother. And there was a lot of trauma he caused in my childhood for no reason at all. Few months back my mom tells me Bob is having a baby with his new girlfriend of maybe 6 months to a year. My response was not what she apparently expected. I said, okay, is he aware he can't just walk away from the kid when he decides he doesn't want to be responsible anymore? She told me, it's still a baby and we needed to get along for its sake. I responded, I don't know that child. That child's life won't be any different without me in it. Just like my children's lives haven't been any different without him in theirs. She didn't like that. My dad has told me it's not the baby's fault my brother is an idiot. I agree, but still I am not changing my boundary. For further explanation, I've had to carry the responsibilities in our family my entire life. I've had to care for our mother on my own for years. I've always been the one our dad relies on. Bob, bullied me relentlessly growing up and is still a raging alcoholic. I have no desire to have that in my life or my kid's life. Bob knows why we don't have discussions. He was notified as to why we don't talk. It's caused my relationship with my mom to become once again strained because she thinks I need to let things go. Edit. I am against him having a child because he walked out on 2 other children he helped raise from ages 6 Malians and 3 years old. He told them repeatedly no matter what he would always be there because their bio dad wasn't around from birth. After 10 years he up and decided no more and went no contact for a girl he was cheating with. Kicked them out of his house to move his girlfriend in. So I refused to give him the time of a day and acknowledge him as a parent after that. Second edit. My mom has previous tried to force a relationship between my youngest and Bob. By trying to get her to speak to him, go to him, etc. Where I always advocate that she doesn't know him and to stop or we will leave. She doesn't mention it anymore but has started acting like she requires an invite to come see her grandkids. Like I am just too busy or something for her to come over. When that has never been the case. So am I the asshole here? I feel like I am missing some information. So let's see if I understand this correctly. 1. Your brother is an asshole. 2. He is having a child. 3. You have children. He doesn't know them. 4. You intend to not get to know his children. 5. Your parents somehow feel you should get involved with his kids, even though the other way around, they didn't feel that way. 6. You already have your own kids and you take care of your parents, so you feel you are doing enough. Not the asshole. Did you mean Bob is 39? This sounds like an awful situation, but it's not actually Bob who's causing your relationship with your mom to become strained even though he's the one bringing a baby into the picture. It's up to you and your mom to handle this situation between the two of you. You may disagree with each other, but Bob didn't cause the disagreement. He didn't even force your parents to rely on you inappropriately. I'm not defending his actions, but it's a complex family situation, and your parents have played a role in it. Not the asshole. Your parents and Bob know that Bob will want a babysitter, or even more than that, and they've chosen you. Absolutely not. YTA lol. Your parents will never love you the way they love your older brother. You will never be anything else in their eyes. No matter how much stuff you do for them, you'll always be seen as a slave. Give up now, bro. Get some self-respect and stop acting like a doormat. You cannot let things go with a raging alcoholic. Such a person will always create new things. Alcoholism is a terrible illness that requires serious treatment and determined recovery. A person in the throes of the illness will endlessly disappoint. Not the asshole. Your brother has already proven himself to be a cheater who doesn't care for anyone but himself. He should not be celebrated nor forgiven for continuing that behavior.